Hello and welcome back to Motors for the Masses, and again still on the east coast of Spain, unbelievably hot, courtesy of Rieju motorcycles, this time with the Xplora 707. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. So let me introduce the 707 Xplora, powered by a 700cc 180-degree crank 4-stroke liquid-cooled parallel twin that is Euro 5 Plus compliant. It produces 70 brake horsepower and 52 pounds-foot of torque. However, you will be able to get the 47 brake horsepower A2 license version. You get a 6-speed box with a multi-disc oil bath clutch with anti-rebound, designed to give smoother up changes and downshifts with no jolts by softening the engine braking. Now, this bike, like the 557, has the MV Agusta design, but underneath it is the same as the Benelli TRK 702 and the QJ Motor SRT 700. That is not a model in the UK lineup, as QJ go from the 650 to the 800 in the UK, but they do the 700 in Asia. Like the 557, this is currently built in China with the view to maybe shifting assembly to the new Spanish factory once that is built, as I showed in the 557 video. You get a steel trellis frame, alloy swing arm, the same adjustable upside down 43mm KYB front forks, and KYB monoshock as the 557. However, the 707 does come with a 19-inch front wheel and 17-inch rear, with a 110 front tyre and a 150 on the back using Metzler rubber. So seemingly a bike more designed as dual purpose than the 557. Like the 557, you get twin 320mm front discs, but with Brembo 4-piston radial calipers and a 260mm disc on the rear with a single piston caliper and the switchable Bosch ABS again for off-road tomfoolery. Longer and thinner than the 557, it is 2.2 metres long, 925mm wide and 1.45 metres tall, with an 865mm seat height, so not for those short in the leg. I, as before, am 5'10.5" with a 31.5-inch inside leg, so seated on here, I can definitely feel as though it's taller than the 557 and I'm more on tiptoes than I am flat-footed than the 557 is. You get a 19.5 litre fuel tank and a dry weight of 221 kilos, so just 6 more than the 557. It isn't shy with its gadgets either, but you get more as standard than you do with the 557. LED lights, backlit switch gears, 7-inch TFT dash, sat-nav by mirroring your phone, standard USB and USB-C, radiator guard, hand guards, crash bars, centre stand and rear grille, with the optional extras of heated grips and a top box, as well as panniers once the side racks have been perfected. The centre stands on these press bikes have been removed for fear of catching them on some of these tight, twisty, winding corners. So then, let's ride it and see how good it is. Right, so the 707. You can definitely feel, even though it's only 7 kilos, it is a little bit heavier. And you can feel that. Not horrendously so, but you can definitely feel it. And the seat height, I think that is what makes the big difference. The seat height is quite a bit higher, and that makes a big difference. Obviously there's a big difference in horsepower from 47 to 70, What a lovely view, look at that, look of the lake. Fantastic. Oh yes, beautiful. It's a very different riding experience, and it's all down to that seat height. And obviously you've got a 19-inch wheel on the front of this, so it's much more of a off-roader adventure bike. Initially, I'm glad I rode the 557 first, because on initial thoughts, that 557 rides a lot nicer. It's tighter in the corners, it's very smooth, it's got plenty of torque. The low seat height really does help. And don't get me wrong, initial thoughts on the 707 is impressive too, but that seat height really makes for a very different riding experience. You do get a nice amount of pickup when you open it up. Great roads, it's unbelievably hot. It's in the late 30s now, touching on 40 degrees. There's a lot of wildfires going on in Spain at the moment. It's just so hot, the heat wave is not only happening in the UK, but it's happening throughout Europe. And Spain, obviously, very dry, lots of brushes about, and it's really suffering. A couple of people died day before yesterday in this region alone. The pickup on this is not as instant when you're in fourth gear. It's not as instant as it is on the 557. That has torque all the way through the range, and this doesn't. I mean, it has torque, don't be wrong, and it is great, but it's not as nice, not as quick, and not as fun as that 557. This more serious. Oh my god, I am absolutely melting inside this helmet. The sweat is actually dripping in my eyes now. It's starting to sting. A good sound from both bikes. This one is a more sort of a hollow, throaty sound, whereas the 557 is just a deep, throaty rumble. Okay, what's making this even hotter is the amount of photographs they're taking to and fro on these back roads. Now I know what the Wicked Witch of the West felt like, because I am certainly melting. I'm sorry. See, the heat is getting to me. I'm starting to act weird now. Oh. Okay, off again. It is too hot, too hot. I've hung back so I can stay at the end, because I want to get some nice footage of the roads in front of me. So apparently we're going down a nice windy hill, which would be nice, and then along the coast. So as I say, the 707 still feels like a nice, what's the best word, grown-up bike, I think is the best way for it. It really does take the corners well, it rides nice. Well, I'm going to cut that corner. It is pleasant. Got to be in the right gear here, and that wasn't it. You can still sling it around corners, just not as much as the 557. That really does scoot around the corners nicely. Brakes on these are Brembo, not the QJ, and I have to say they feel a bit more substantial. No, that's the wrong word, because the QJ brake you really well, but it's more of a sharp dip, whereas this sort of hunkers you. Brake wise, I think I prefer these Brembos simply because of the way they slow you down with grace, not with anger. Well, I wanted 7th there, and there isn't one. They're all buggering off. I'm letting them go because I just want to enjoy the road, and I think you get a great view ahead of you rather than just a load of other bikes. And they're probably much better riders than me. Oh, I should not close that visor. Oh, the sun blaring through this. I'd say the sweat is dripping in my eyes, making my eyes sting, which really doesn't help. Of course, all these people ride fast bikes on twisty roads every single day of the year. Well, pretty much. So, vastly more experience than I have. Well, you can definitely feel the 707 creep up on the 557.
dash does change depending if you go, it's on automatic mode at the moment, so if you go through a bridge it goes from the white to the dark screen to make it easily seen, but it's just that sun glare. It doesn't seem so bad on this one, to be fair. Maybe it's just a slightly different angle because of the suspension setup. I don't know how that's set up, but also because it's got a 19-inch wheel, not a 17-inch wheel, and that tiny difference might make a difference to where the position of the screen is. But this does take the corners just as well. Once you're moving, it's equally as flickable. Although I think prefer the 557. Just rides snappier. And it's just an all-round better bike, and I think that seat height makes a big difference. But don't get me wrong, I like them both. They have built a superb bike. Comes down through the gears really nicely. Very smooth gear change. And then powers out. The acceleration I don't think is as rapid as the 557. I think the 557 definitely has the edge on the acceleration, and it's not really anything to do with weight because there's only 7 kilos difference. It's merely, I think, down to how the torque is produced on that 557. But yeah, good acceleration, fantastic. I mean, the more I ride this, the more I enjoy it. But I still think I prefer the 557 out of the two. And it's just down to that seat height, the position, the flickability, and the torque in that 550 engine. But impressed, you know, absolutely impressed. And they are Chinese built bikes, and again they pulled it out of the bag, and Rieju, with their finishing touches and their QC oversee, they seem to be doing it superbly. Fantastic. Negatives about this one. Now that's weird because the only negative I had on the 557 was that screen. I don't get that issue on here, even though the sun is mostly in front of me. The seat height, I suppose, is the only negative. 865 millimeters. It only becomes an issue when you're maneuvering it at walking pace, and then you're pretty much tiptoes. Don't forget I'm 5'10.5" with a 31.5 inch inside leg. I will show you me sitting on the bike. I do have unbelievably stingy eyes now. In fact, I need to wipe them because I can't see. The sweat is phenomenal. What a superb set of bikes. I'm keen to try that 307 as well. See what that's like. Oh, it's actually far too hot. Taking any opportunity to hide in the shade. The unpredictability of these corners makes it partly more fun, but also a little bit daunting because you just never know what's around the corner. Whether there's a car around there, whether there's someone pulling out, whether it's a really tight hairpin corner, you just don't know. Whether it's a cliff and a sheer drop, you just don't know. But it just rides so well. Takes it in its stride, handles it all, sounds good, feels good. I love it. The more I ride this, the more I'm enjoying it. I still think I prefer the 557 because of that torque low end, but you can have just as much fun with this big one. And in comparison to the Benelli, it's the same engine, same setup, same bike, so it feels pretty similar. I think that's why I enjoy the 557 more, because this one feels like it could be a Benelli that I'm on, whereas the other one doesn't. That feels different, and it is, because it is different, and that makes a massive difference. I'm using the word difference a lot, but it is. Bikers are all friendly here, which is nice. And I'm just loving the way this bike feels, loving this countryside, not enjoying this weather. But what a great way to spend a day or two in the sun, riding bikes, whizzing around corners. And they are two very well built, very good performing, superbly built bikes. If I was to change anything, perhaps they need to release this one with the option to have a lower seat, so people less than sort of 5'10" can enjoy it, or people less than 5'11" can enjoy it. I'm going to say I'm 5'10" and a half, and in the heat, when your jeans stick to you, your armoured jeans, don't forget, stick to you, it can make it a bit awkward putting your feet down on the stoppages. But other than that, great. So yeah, my only recommendation would be a lower seat height option for this. That's the only thing I've got to say, really. Oh, okay. I think we need to stop and get a drink, and I need to open my visor because I am gonna die in a minute. I'm not, but you know what I mean.
So again, I'd hope this would be around £7,000 range, considering what it'll be up against, being 7,700 euros in Spain and France at the moment. I'd imagine the 557 being just under 7k and the 707 just over, but price and release date is to be 100% confirmed. If you haven't seen it, please check out the 557 video to compare, although I will offer my comparison in a minute at the end of this video. And servicing for this is the same as the 557 at 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles for the first inspection service, and then every 6,000 kilometers or 3,700 miles after that. There is also a 300 version coming, as I said in the previous video, so I'll be getting my hands on that as soon as it arrives in September or October, so watch out for that video as well.
So, you know, if I was to sum up, I would say that the 557 and the 707 are both very good bikes and quite different. However, I feel that the 707 would be perfect. Oh, yes, up there. I feel the 707 would be perfect for motorway, longer rides, and the 557 perfect for twistier roads and roads that you want to have fun on. It's lighter, much more easier to maneuver, and it's just fun all round with these smaller wheels and that low down torque. It is a great fun bike to throw around. The 707 It's still a fun bike to throw around, but not as much as the 557. And the 707 I think would be much more at home on longer motorway rides. Not that this can't do 70 miles an hour, but the 707 obviously, because it's a bigger capacity, can do it better. If there's to be any negatives, in the higher revs you can have a little bit of vibration in the foot pegs. Not horrendous, but you do get a little bit of vibration in the foot pegs. Whereas the 707 you get less vibration, the 557 more so. Overall I definitely prefer the 557. It's much more fun, and that low seat height really does work nice for me. The 707, lovely bike. The seat height isn't a problem when you're riding. Manoeuvring maybe a little bit of a difficulty depending on which terrain you're on. However, both really impressive bikes. And these roads are superb. They've both got enough torque to just whip past stuff. As you can see, as I say, the vibrations are, it's not really that bad, to be fair. It's only if you're high up in the revs you get a little bit of feedback through the foot pegs, but it's marginal. I suppose it depends on what shoes you're wearing as well, because I don't really feel much through these boots. So if you're wearing adventure style boots, you won't really notice it as much.
So there we go, those are my final thoughts, and I will see you very soon for another video. So don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video, click the notification bell for more uploads, and I will see you back in the UK very soon. So until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye bye.